Okay, I think it's time to go. We are live. Hi, Alex. How are you doing?
Hi, Ivan. I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. I'm in London today. Where in the world is Yona?
I'm literally across the pond. I'm in New York in a beautiful hotel room, starting the day. Well, I would have preferred a cup of coffee instead of a chat, but I think you will make it work today too. So,
Can I
oh,
can I send you a cup of coffee from me?
yes, please. Yes, please. Let's have it. I mean, these are the inventions of the world's future. No, forget Mars. I want a digital coffee transforming right here in an actual coffee. That would be something cool. Can we add it on our roadmap?
I feel like we after we've solved financial inclusion, we'll start looking at materializing coffee.
Okay, I'm gonna take up on that. Don't worry. I'm gonna come back after. But why we gathered here today? Who are you, Alex?
I am Alex Lakatos, Chief Technology Officer at the Interledger Foundation. I've done a bunch of things in this world before landing at the foundation. I worked for browsers and browser engines. I've done performance optimizations for JavaScript. I worked in developer relations and developer advocacy for telecommunications API companies. And then I joined the magical world of PCI compliance and card networks, and that is when I think I figured out there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way to send a payment across the world in the age of the internet. And I found out about web monetization and how you can get paid on the internet. And then I found out the Interledger Foundation was involved with web monetization. And I strongly believe in our mission to make sending a payment as easy as sending an email. So I joined the kind folks at the Interledger Foundation a little over 3 years ago to help make that a reality. But Joanna, who is Joanna, Luana, or Iona, depending on which side of the world you are?
Yeah, Alex knows that when I do presentations, among my first slides, when it's the slide about who is the speaker, I always have my name crossed over because I use different forms that people use. It seems Ioana is very hard this day, and I do not mind, but I find it funny to have all the personalities, like Loana, which for me feels very Hawaiian. I'm not, but I wish I would stay more there, I guess. Or Yona, very short. So yeah, I'm Yona Kiran, Ioana, but I don't mind the other spelling. I know different countries read this name differently. I do reply to all of them. I do appreciate when it's correct. I'm an engineer manager here at Foundation side, on the Interledger Foundation side. And while I'm not celebrating 3 years as the CTO, I'm almost close to half a year. Let's see if I survive. This is a joke. Because I really like the work, so for sure I will pass this milestone, hopefully to much longer ones. I joined in April to work more closely with the web monetization team, part of the mission that Alex mentioned earlier that the foundation has, and to do a bit more work helping the community and the advocacy team with different events, different content creation. So this one is one of the things that we set in place from that side of him. And any idea why we started this, Alex, or what's your opinion why we started off the ledger and what's all the off the ledger thing?
Well, I think we were in California. I think we were in California a little while back, meeting with the kind people at the W3C, talking about weaponization. And we were having a lot of conversations off the record while we were there, and we realized that a lot of these conversations would benefit a greater audience than just two. And pun intended, we realized we do ledgers, not records here, which is kind of the same. So Joanna came up with the name of the ledger, and I loved it so much that I think a week later it's reality. Joanna is always a victim of her own success. I don't think I've ever said no to any idea Joanna had to implement new things at Interledger, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy Joanna works with us. Happy Joanna works with us. I don't know, Joanna. Are you happy? You have ideas? Are you happy you work with us?
I can even joke. This is recorded and live. So, yes, I am very happy. I do believe that I think my motto here was like every time I propose something, I give myself more work, which is good at the end of the day because that's why it's good to have work. So, that's why we are here. I'm also very happy with what I do, so I think that's the important thing. As long as you will see this series going, it means that it's funny and happy moments. And we do want to get more stuff about the work we do, especially from the engineering side. Because, like you said, while ch chatting with people at TPAC, we realize we do so much more than we share outside, and also in a more loosely panel format will be easier for some people to just share more stuff than in text, written, and all that. Which doesn't mean that we're going to stop doing the blog posting, which I do encourage everyone to go. It's theintelligent.org/developer/blog. So we are trying to share more about the work we do. We are a bunch of people, not too many to be honest, but proudly and very good ones that work on this one. So this group does share a lot, but I think they deserve a bit more spotlight. So that's why we created this area. Hopefully, will be easier in a more digestible version of the information for people too. And yeah, we thought of making the pun with off the ledger, especially because we want to embrace, the unclarity that comes with the name Interledger, um, meaning that we do want to explain it over and over again, that we do so much more than only one ledger. That's why we have um, I think we also wrote about it, right, Alex? The
We
title
wrote a little bit
misconceptions.
about it, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
so we embrace it. I know it creates confusions a lot, but if you have questions more about it, we are more than happy to answer them. Yeah, so what do we expect from this of the Ledger series? How do you see it coming? We also discussed and have opinions, but any expectation from your side that we'd like you to see?
So I think for me, Off the Ledger is a chance for everyone in our community to kind of come and talk shop. There's no polish here, that we're not hiding anything. We're an open source foundation, so all of the work we do is open source. And I think this is a chance for our community to interact with us and kind of see how we work here at Interledger. On top of that, if you look at our projects on GitHub, you'll see some of them are really cutting edge and complicated. We use technologies like GNAP, the Grant Negotiation and Authorization Protocol, which is still in release candidate and hasn't been officially published. We use Tiger Beetle, which is a new accounting database that the team at Tiger Beetle built. And so we've got a lot of experience using a lot of interesting technology or new technology. And it's our chance to show the world how we've approached some of the designs we've done, how people could learn from us, or even how people could contribute. It is October, the month of Oktoberfest. I'd love to see more contributions on our GitHub. And I think because I'd love to see more contributions on our GitHub, we are giving out a bunch of encouragement and recognition and prizes for the people who contribute.
Yeah, and to be fair, the idea of a panel, not of the ledger name panel, came because of this month of the celebration of Hacktoberfest contributions. Both of us have a lot of background in open source, and we wanted to encourage everyone to contribute. And in this planning of what we can do this month for our community to be sure that they can onboard and they can contribute was an idea to create such sessions about different products or work that we do, technologies that we do here at Interledger Foundation. And that's why we are like, oh, should we do a panel? Should we do a discussion? How it's easier for people to integrate. This is just the prologue episode of the series. We will have special um, sessions or episodes about products or technologies that we use, partners that we have. We'll invite them to share more of the work. If you have a project that connects with our mission slash that uses our technologies, we would love to hear from you and probably we'll have a discussion about that too. But because Alex mentioned that we do have a lot of things going on, especially a lot of technologies where you use, and everything is open source, I think it's very easy for me to stop talking a bit and share you more about the repositories that we have. And this is the whole page on our GitHub where you can find all of our projects. The ones that we encourage you more to work on is probably Rafiki. Open payments might not have much around, but do check it out too. But
Actually,
well,
actually,
let's not go over so fast. Let's talk about each one. Which one you want to pick up, Alex?
Actually, open payments is a good one because we are looking for a lot of help with
Ah,
open payments. So if you're not familiar with open payments is an API specification that kind of describes how Interledger-enabled wallets can talk to each other to exchange money across the Interledger network. So it is a simple, well, we've made it as simple as we could, a simple payments API that we implement in Rafiki, the reference implementation for Interledger. And while it is a public-facing API and every Interledger-enabled wallet will expose the Open Payments API on the wallet addresses, engineers working with it will still need to make HTTP requests. And I used to be a JavaScript engineer. I still like to think of myself as an engineer, even though I think Sabine hasn't let me touch code in 5 months now. But JavaScript is easier for calling HTTP requests. I remember my Java days or my Python days when making an HTTP request was not as easy. So we're starting to build SDKs for open payments. We're a small and mighty team that does TypeScript. So the first one we put out was a TypeScript SDK, which we're actually really proud of. But we are looking to put out SDKs for more languages. I think we're looking right now for a Python SDK, and there are some people contributing into a Python SDK. But we have a long list of languages that we'd love to support for open payments. Some of them more new and exotic, like Rust or Go, and some of them hot and trendy like PHP. I know. I'm controversial with PHP. I think PHP is making a comeback. Making a comeback is the new JavaScript of the development world. But if you strongly feel that your language should be supported, make an issue and start contributing. Help us build an SDK. Help us build an SDK this month.
yeah. Oh, that's the best call. I mean, you should have a tagline for that. Help us build an SDK this month. And as Alex said, we are, well, I mentioned earlier, we are just a bunch of people, not too many, not too little. We cannot create all the language SDKs that we want. So join us in contributing on this, and we'd love to see your work here. Open source everything. We do have some steps what you need to use or how it's our contribution or to participate in the community catch-up call. But if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. You mentioned Rafiki. Want to go over it a bit too, Alex?
Oh yeah, sure. So Rafiki started out as a very focused idea. When I joined Interledger, um, the adoption of Interledger took a really long time because the Interledger protocol started out as a lot of words on paper, a lot of rules that govern how accounting ledgers interact with each other and exchange value. If you're not familiar with an accounting ledger, way back when, accounting ledgers used to be these giant books that recorded transactions and stored balances. And your bank had a ledger, your corner store had a ledger. Today, it's evolved into basically a giant database with very strict rules in it that banks, digital wallets, uh, Starbucks uses under the hood to record transactions and store balances. All of these were not designed to talk to each other. They were made, some of them are 40 years old. Some of the banks use 40-year-old systems that still work today, but they're not designed to talk to each other. So Interledger was designed as the interoperability layer between all of these, the same way the internet works. Unfortunately, if you wanted to implement Interledger, you had to write your own implementation of Interledger, and that took a lot of time. So we realized everybody had to kind of reinvent the wheel and rebuild an Interledger implementation to help them. adopt Interledger. So we started Rafiki with the goal of providing a reference implementation, software as a software service architecture that allows you to cut down on the time it takes to adopt Interledger. I think when I joined, it was anywhere between 6 and 18 months, and we've got one of the grantees using Rafiki to go live and adopt Interledger in 7 days. So it cuts down on the development time considerably. And
We would we would need now,
this,
the pop-ups on the screen saying from months to days. Yeah, we are not that yet there, but soon we'll
I
have.
feel like feel like my goal when I joined was to cut down the adoption time. To cut down to adoption time. I never in my wildest dream did I think we were going to get to 7 days. To 7 days. So I'm very proud of the Rafiki team, and the work they've been doing in order to facilitate adoption of Interledger. And
So
once we had,
is this considered one
yes.
of the successes in these 3 years as a CTO?
I am definitely considering this a success, even though I can take no credit for it. The team behind Rafiki is amazing. Sabine and Max and Blair and Nathan and Sarah and now Juana are doing an amazing job. Are doing an amazing job. Jason gets a special mention because he wrote most of the Tiger Beetle integration, and he's our storekeeper or record keeper for Tiger Beetle. And we've gotten so many contributions from the ecosystem. Rafiki was started inside of Coil as a skunkworks project that we kind of adopted and matured. The team at Finboss helped us out. If you look at the contributors graph, there are a lot of contributions in Rafiki, so it was a team effort. But I'm very happy to where we went. One of the benefits of having a reference implementation that everybody uses is we can deliver improvements and all the nice features on top of it easily. That's why when we created Open Payments, we've added an Open Payments implementation in Rafiki as well, so that everybody that deploys Rafiki has not only raw IntelliJ access via SPSP, but also gets Open Payments on top of that. And now we are actively working. Rafiki was designed for a single institution, a single account. We call them account servicing entity, either a bank or digital wallet, mobile money provider, anyone with a ledger, really. So we designed this for a single institution. But as we've started using this and it matured, we've in our recent work with the Jordan Payments and Cleaning Company, we realized Rafiki could become multi-tenant and 27 banks could use the same Rafiki instance. Instead of having 27 banks deploy their own version of Rafiki, we can have a single Rafiki instance that manages them. So the team is hard at work right now developing a multi-tenant feature in Rafiki. One of the things that we've also started working on is adding performance optimization and improvements to Rafiki. You'll see a bunch of issues in there. If performance is your dream, if you want to highly optimize everything, please join us. There are a lot of things we could be doing to make Rafiki better. Our goal is to have Rafiki handle more than a million transactions per second per instance, and that allows the IntelliJ network to process nano transactions at about the speed of the speed of fiber. The speed of fiber. So if you're into TypeScript, this is probably the best project for you to contribute and start learning TypeScript if you're not into TypeScript.
Y-
The team at Rafiki is highly engaged. Everyone's available on Slack. Join our community Slack and ping the Rafiki channel, and everybody's happy to help you set up.
Yeah. Oh, we are. I didn't have the Slack open yet, but we'll show it more. But till then, we do have a post about what was the last Rafiki work week, which happened a month ago in Cluj-Napoca, Romania. And because I remember the JPEG work that you mentioned and the multi-tenant, while it's still an idea and they start working on it, it was part of the work week there. And I do invite everyone to read it. I'll share the links in the footnotes after we have the recording uploaded also on YouTube or in the other platforms. I'll just reply to it. But at the end of this blog post, we do have some easy forms to contribute. The community call that we have in the second week of each month on Wednesdays, and the community Slack that Alex mentioned. So yeah, but it's a lot of information in one stuff on one round, and we'll add it in meeting notes to be easier for you to follow. So we have open payments. You mentioned Rafiki. Where does web monetization go? Where does it stand?
Ooh, weaponization. Weaponization is very interesting. I feel like weaponization was my gateway into the Interledger world. So
Yeah.
web monetization is a stand-up being developed at the World Wide Web Consortium, or the W3C, in the community group. It's incubated there, and it is designed as a reversed payment handler, so that in payment handler and payment request, a page can actively request payment from a user. That usually happens when you have an e-commerce flow, or when you're trying to buy something from a website. So the page has to actively request payment. We realized a lot of web pages didn't have this transactional
Mm.
need for payments. They could signal, there was no way on the web to signal the fact that you could accept payment. So, for example, I think my blog hasn't been updated in a while, so don't show that. But if I used to run a blog, I have a blog, right? And I think it got popular for a little while, and the server costs got a little bit up, and I had no way to monetize it. I had no way to tell people, hey, if you like what you're reading, I could use some money to keep this site alive. So webmonetization was designed as that, a way for websites to signal the fact that they will accept payment, and you as the user get to decide if you're gonna support those websites or not. So we created this specification with the W3C, and then we looked for ways to pay the websites. And then we tried going via the card network route. And I think a dollar is the minimum amount that allow you to send over the card networks. But the problem with that is, even if I got somebody to pay me a dollar, I'm in the UK, most of my readers were in the US and in the UK, that would have been fine. A dollar is buy me a coffee type of thing. But out of that dollar, I had to sign up for a payment processor for Stripe. Stripe did not like my citizenship. They said Romania is not exactly a very good kosher citizenship. Now they work. Now they work. But even if I could accept payment, out of that dollar that I would ask from people, I would lose 30 cents plus 2.75%. That was a very, very high cost of maybe supporting my website. So we looked for
Do we
payment
lost
methods,
Alex?
and Interledger,
What did we
because it
lost?
allows the processing of microtransactions or nano payments below the, well, not only well below the dollar, but below the cent. I think Interledger supports, some of the Interledger ledgers support the 100th part of a cent. So it allowed us to explore different ways to pay the websites, not a single type payment, but a continuous stream of micropayments. So some websites implemented the idea of streaming payments, or the concept of streaming payments. Coil, a weaponization provider, now defined, had this idea that I could be on a website and pay it actively every single second for my time on page. So we've developed this concept even further, because we strongly believe in user choice and competition. So we're developing weaponization and the extension that Joanna's team is building, so that every single user gets to be their own weaponization provider. They'll connect an Interledger wallet, and after that, they decide how much and how fast do they want to pay the websites they're in. I think mine right now is set to the maximum rate of pay, which is a dollar an hour, so that I can pay pages in real time. Of course, some websites are so good, I want to support them more. So there is a feature to send a payment to support the website as a one time payment, like a tip or a donation or a gift. Weaponization is being trialed in beta right now. If you'd like to see where we're at with the web extension, if you'd like to see where we're at with the weaponization tools for publishers, please reach out to Joanna or I. and
Yeah.
we'll be happy to give you access to the beta. We'll even give you $10 in your account so you can start paying around the internet, pay the websites you love. And if you're a website owner or a website maintainer, we'd love to help you get set up with webinization, help you monetize your content a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I was also showing now, but whenever I move the sharing to the recording platform, it's disappear. This, I think this version that of add-on that I have, it's already outdated of the extension, because we are working daily to produce new things and things change, like explaining better or showing less than like such a long UI UX add-on display over browser display.
I
And
think
so don't take it with a grain of salt as this changes, but this is one of the steps intermediately in the building of the extension. I think you
I
compiled it
think I
yesterday
like
with
being on
the,
the yeah.
go ahead.
I think I like being on the bleeding edge. I'm on the nightly builds. My extension looks a bit different.
Yeah,
There's no public key set up, and I have
exactly.
the new flow. So as you can see, we're moving really fast here, really fast here. If you want to try your hand at building something that's a little bit exotic, like a browser extension that implements a browser spec. So we're working with browser internals and a bunch of different things that basically allow us to prototype a new specification into the browser without being a browser manufacturer.
Hmm.
Um, please reach out on GitHub, reach out to Joanna. We are working with the extension Manifest v3 at the bleeding edge. We have some feedback that we've been passing along to the W3C. It's a really good opportunity to play with something that not a lot of people get to play with.
Yep. And I'm looking now, again, we are having this, oh, I'm missing the blog post that I mentioned, lots of things happening. And we have Oktoberfest that is running now and connected to partially our work there. This is the website. So for the website, for example, you can also contribute to that. I think it's developers.hacktoberfest, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but this will change to, it's fine. I'll link it as mentioned in another notes, in the meeting notes. And but wanted to share that we do have a page where we gather all the information for Hacktoberfest specifically, and all the links that I open in this session for you will be, shared there along. We have a lot going on at the place. That's why we wanted to explain things better. And I think the major event coming up is our own summit that is preceded by a hackathon organized by us. The hackathon does request a participation in person in South Africa with us in Cape Town. But I think the summit session will be also available for remote participation. Why are you smiling, Alex? I think it's a favorite thing, the
I am
hackathon.
I'm smiling because hackathons are one of my favorite things to do in this world. Um, and so
Yeah,
organizing a hackathon for Cape Town community was one of the things I am most satisfied and most happy about this year. We were talking about celebrating wins. I think this is
yes,
my favorite event of the year. If you're in South Africa, join us in Cape Town. I think registration closes tomorrow. I've heard from
yes.
the organizing team that we've still got like 6 or 7 slots open. This is literally your last chance to register. Last chance to register. If you want to join us in Cape Town, we've got an amazing venue for both the hackathon and the summit. I think the hackathon prizes are $5,000 for the first place, $3,000 for the second place, and $1,000 for third place. And I think we have a
Yeah,
little surprise. We have a little surprise, a little last chance community voting prize as well. Join us and build with open payments. We've got most of our engineers traveling to South Africa to interact and help people hacking at the hackathon. We've got a set of amazing students coming from UCT, the University of Cape Town, which we partnered with. And it's an amazing chance to get your
I
hands
think we
on
lost
real wallets,
Alex,
real
or it
money
froze like
in South
earlier.
Africa if you want to build with open payments.
Good, 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 good. I think we had one or two moments when, for me, you've got frozen now and earlier. Not sure if it was me or it was you. Hope the audience was still understanding. We can still understand what you are saying. But I'll check after the recording to see. Maybe it was just my connection. So yeah, the hackathon precedes the summit. The summit has a full agenda. You can go and check previous summits if you want. If you want the schedule for this one is ready already. Um, End of October, Saturday, October 26 to 27 on Sunday, we're gonna run the summit. I'm very excited for it, very excited. Till then, I think
Well,
you can go.
you were a participant in the last summit, Joanna.
Yes.
Last year's the summit was in Costa Rica. How was your I mean, I hope you had a good experience, good enough to make you want to join us, but how was your experience in Costa Rica?
Was really good. Honestly, I was very impressed by the event. I loved it. It was also the best way to find out how the team works and what are you exactly working on because like every other people from audience, I had maybe a different understanding. What are the values of the company, the mission? Is it really that mission or we have something else behind? And literally in Costa Rica, being as a participant, I really didn't even think was not on the plate to join the foundation. But it did help me understand I wanted to contribute. I remember I left the summit with some actions that I wanted to help as a community person, and I'm more than happy now that I'm running some of them as an employee. Yeah. It was very fun, very insightful for me to learn about so many things in the finance world that I was a bit not aware. It's a bit, I am a bit ashamed to admit that I was not there because, for example, I never considered that refugees in different countries will not have IDs and will not be able to have a bank account, and that will mean that they are not able to have cards. And they are like, I was like, wait, what? And how are these people do daily stuff? Because especially in some countries, cash is not necessarily so much available, or not used at all. I don't know the laws if it's mandatory or not, but for me it was like, oh wow. So being at the table talking about this, how to help this category of people, was very impactful for me to understand that we have a good mission around.
I'm actually thinking about that. So I'm in London right now, and I bought myself a cup of coffee for which I couldn't pay cash, for which I had to have some sort of financial instrument to pay. And the
Okay.
reason why I can't pay cash is not because laws and regulation, every single country is still allowed for cash. The problem is cash management is expensive.
Mm,
If you're a little coffee shop, even in London, if you're a little coffee shop, you have to store that cash and then you have to securely deposit it into the bank, and that costs money. And you do have some rules and regulations, but even the banks have issues with cash management. So I was in Mexico a couple of weeks working with the team of the People's Clearing House. Well, you'll meet the team at the People's Clearing House at the summit if you're joining us. But
hmm
we went and saw a little community bank in rural Oaxaca, rural Mexico, and they had very strict rules on how to manage their cash. They had to have a safe on premises. So this was a bank of six people. Like that, six people worked there, out of which four of them were consultants in the agriculture field. So there was just the bank manager and the bank teller that had to do all of the money management. So you had to have a safe, and the safe couldn't have over a certain limit of cash or below a certain limit of cash because of the regulations in the country. And so if your cash reserve got under or over, and you had to take the money away or bring in more money. And the way they do this is, if it's below a certain limit, a human will travel with that cash, which is risky. I wouldn't want to be the human carrying around 50,000 pesos to go
Yeah.
deposit it with the reserve. Or if it was over a certain limit, they had to call in an armored car. But the cost of the armored car was sometimes higher than the cash they were moving. So cash management is it's hard even for banks. That's why most stores or most coffee shops, most small business owners are now doing cash management because it's expensive. But that excludes a lot of people from the financial ecosystem. So not being able to get a bank account or Apple Pay or a card or anything like that excludes people from participating in the financial world. And this happens this happens in everywhere. Like you are excluded from the financial system in the UK, you're excluded from the financial system in the US, you're either underserved or not represented at all. And this is one of the things that the foundation is trying to fix, to expand digital financial inclusion.
Yeah, very well said, really well said, especially pointing on the inclusion side of the work that we do. And I think it's good to, accept that sometimes this privilege blind us, that we don't realize that not everyone has access to a card. Because you will be like, it's fine, they will have cards, yeah, but it's so hard to get a card. Or, I experienced it a bit while I moved to Germany because I did not have, as a European citizen, I did not need to register instantly. So as a tourist, you can stay there a lot. Uh, but till I've really registered to have an address, I could not get a bank account there. And without the bank account in Germany, I could not do another thousand things that are bonded to it. And I was like, oh, this is such a circle. You need everything, everything. And after and at the end, you will be like, do you really need to do all this? Like, why isn't working with what we already have? Why we need to create this layer of segregation? So yeah, I think our mission is still strong, still stands there, and we have a lot of work to do. And this is what I found out at the summit for me, because nowadays being with the tech side of things all day, I was like, oh, it's easy. We do this, we transfer, but I didn't realize how impactful is this for the people that we serve.
I think me and Joanna could talk about this
Yeah,
forever. So
yes,
if you see us out into the world, if you see us out into the world, ask us about this. We'll buy you a coffee and we'll have a long conversation about all of this. You can see us out into the world in the next couple of weeks at events. I think Joanna
Prologue.
and some
I
of our
did
other colleagues,
Australia.
Huijing, are
We
going to
will
be
be.
in New York for Smashing Conf. And I think I'm gonna join FFConf in Brighton in the UK later in the year. If you see anyone from Interledger at one of those events, ask them about money movement. They're happy
Yeah,
to talk because we think about this a lot here and we think
yes.
about how we can make this better.
And it might not be us, but for sure our colleagues. If we don't make it to the event, our colleagues are around for sure to this one mentioned, or join our community call where we go over all of them. Well, I think it was a good prologue episode, Alex. What do you think? Did you make it work?
I
Are we
think it
gonna
was
do
good.
this again?
I think it was good. I had a lot of fun. I don't know about you, Joanna, but I had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the next one. So what happens next? What's the next one about?
Well, I'm not gonna spoil it. You'll have to stick around, but it will be about one of our technologies, and it's still dedicated to the Hacktoberfest celebrations, especially because we do are still there. We just started. We have a month, and as Alex mentioned earlier, we do have prizes for those contributing to Hacktoberfest with Interledger work. So go on the page, check what you can contribute, and let us know. We are more than happy to reward you for that. And probably we'll do another episode before the summit. The summit work is a lot, so take it with a pinch of salt. But we'll see each other before the summit, and probably we'll have maybe a live one at the summit. We'll not reveal
That
all
sounds
the
really good.
surprises, but stay tuned.
That sounds really good. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Joanna, for
Hope you
putting
enjoyed
off.
us. Let us know
Pleasure.
what you want to learn more. Thanks so much for everything, everyone. Have a great day.